Hey there, Stampers. Happy Friday. Welcome to this week's Facebook Live. I missed you all last week. I was away on holidays, so I'm happy to be back to share lots of stuff with you. My name is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Alberta, Canada, and I am excited to be here today to share an alternate project using this month's paper pumpkin kit, which is the October 2023 Home for the Holidays paper pumpkin kit. But before we get started, I wanted to share a little peek at some new product. Okay, let me just update my iPad here. All right. If you're just joining in, make sure you say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. I always love to see where you guys are watching from. Okay, so this is a new collection that is going to be out in the next mini catalog, which doesn't start until January, but one of the perks of being a demonstrator is getting our hands on product early. So this is a collection that we will be using at Stampin' Up's upcoming On Stage at Home, which is a virtual event in November. And if you purchase the starter kit this month during the 35th anniversary starter kit special, then you get free registration to that event and you have the opportunity to purchase this collection. So I'll talk a little bit more about the starter kit special in a minute, but I want to share a peek at the product here. So it's obviously a Valentine collection, but I think it could be used for lots more as well. It's a really cute collection. The stamp set is called Be My Valentine. It's got a coordinating punch called the Bee Builder Punch. But you can see that you build the bee. This to me looks like a speech bubble, and then it's got a couple shaped hearts. So I think this is going to be incredibly versatile. So it's not just for bees. And then here is the coordinating stamp set. So you can see that this will coordinate with this, and then the hearts will be the lead or the wings. There's some cute sentiments. You're sweet as honey. I love that. Be mine. I love you no matter what. Happy Valentine's Day. You'll always be the one for me. Love you, and you make my heart buzz. Isn't that sweet? And then, of course, there's some floral images, some honeycomb images, and some little faces that you can put on your bees as well. Super, super cute. So that is the bundle. And then let's set that aside. There is a ribbon. So this is Sweet Sorbet bordered ribbon, which is a nice width. This is going to be great for tying bows. Doesn't add a lot of bulk, which I always love. There are these adorable embellishments. These are called the adhesive backed hearts and flowers. And then I'll set those aside. There are these fabulous pillow boxes, which I haven't actually even opened this. This came in while we were on holidays, so I haven't had a chance to play with this at all. I have a retreat weekend next weekend. I'm hoping that I can do a few things with these, but these are, so they're heavier weight, and then they've got the score lines, so they should be really quick and easy to put together. Super fun. And then the DSP, or the patterned paper. Look how fun this is. Look at the sweet faces on these bees. And this guy, where he's kind of upright. Let me bring it closer. He's holding a heart. So sweet. Love it. And then here's the back side. So this, I mean, you could use for anything. And then look at the jars of honey. And then the back side, again, can be used for so much. A floral. Stripes. Can't go wrong with stripes. Another sweet bee pattern, and then some honeycomb, and then this, and then the hearts, and then this one here, and some florals. So again, this whole collection won't be available to customers until the mini catalog goes live in January. The only way that you can get this at this time is if you are a demonstrator and have already registered for On Stage in November, you can pre-order this collection. If you haven't registered, then you'll just have to wait until December pre-order starts, and then you can pick it up then. Or if you are not yet a demonstrator and want to enjoy all the perks of being a demonstrator, like getting your hands on product like this early, being able to attend Stampin' Up! Events, and all the extra perks. There's so many perks to being a demonstrator. Then you can take advantage of the 35th anniversary starter kit promotion, where you can choose either 35% off of the starter kit, which means that you would get $165 worth of product of your choice. So that can be, you can choose product from the annual catalog, the mini catalog, the clearance rack, the online exclusives, any combination of those, or even any pre-order product. So there are some new online exclusives that are going to be released in November. You can make those part of your starter kit as well. So anything that a demonstrator can pre-order, you can put in your starter kit. So you get to choose $165 worth of product for only $87.75, and there's no shipping and no GST on top of that. Or you can choose 35% more product in your starter kit, which means that you get to choose $222.75 worth of product and only pay $135. There's no shipping and no GST on that. All right. And in addition to that, you get free registration to our Onstage November event, which is a $102 value. And if you register for that event after you purchase the starter kit, then that is when you can pre-order this fun collection that I just shared with you. All right. So if you have any questions about that, just let me know. And if you live in Canada, we would love to have you join our Treasure Stampers team. We are a Canada-wide team. We do lots of virtual events, so it doesn't matter where you are, you will be included. And we'd love to have you. All right. Now, for today, like I said, we are going to be creating a fun layout using this month's Paper Pumpkin kit. So before we get started, I'm going to share what's in the Paper Pumpkin kit so that you know. Now, Paper Pumpkin, for those of you who may not be aware, this is a monthly subscription kit. So you can subscribe for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. You can keep going. I always suggest, you know what, if you're not 100% sure, give it a shot for 3 months and see how you enjoy it. But it is fabulous because everything that you need apart from scissors is included in this box. The projects are always quick and easy. So if you love to craft, if you've got grandkids or kids that love to craft, this is a great project that you can do with them. The projects are always really simple. They come with photo instructions. So you can see there, it shows you kind of what adhesive to put on the back of everything. It shows you how you're meant to assemble them. On the back, it gives you some alternate ideas, the contents of the kit, and coordinating colors. Every kit includes an exclusive stamp set. So the only way that you can get this stamp set is by being a subscriber or purchasing that month's kit. So this month, these were the 2 cards. So you get the supplies to create 8 cards, 4 of each of these. Super fun. They're really pretty and super dimensional this month. I love them. So I always like to start by creating one of each of the projects that you're meant to create. And then we've got some real red tissue paper. I love it when it comes with colored tissue paper. This month, something fun that was included was it's almost like glitter glue. What does Stampin' Up! Call it? Let me just check the instructions and see. Oh, they don't have it listed here. But it's like a glitter glue. So if you look at the samples, if I bring these closer, you might be able to see. You see how there's a little bit of sparkle on the rooftops and the window ledges? So that's where I put this. So it's just like a small little nozzle, easy to apply. We're definitely going to use that today. So I'm going to set that aside. Here's a look at the exclusive stamp set. So we've got Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. There's a house on here. There's a tree, some snowflakes, a smaller tree, some little dots, and then celebrate the wonder and joy of this festive season. Of course, you get any kind of adhesive. So you usually get a sheet of dimensionals, and if you need mini glue dots are included as well. So I'm going to keep those out. You get an ink spot. So this month it's real red. I tend not to open these because I have full-size ink pads. So I have my real red ink pad set aside. And then Anything else that you need is usually die cut for you, or you just pop it out. So here's a little bit of glimmer that we used underneath the greeting, so that just pops out. This is where you're meant to stamp your greeting. Your card bases are all pre-scored. Some of them are printed. So this was one of the card bases. This was the other. And then you get some additional die cut elements. So here are some trees. I'm going to keep those out. And then some additional, anything that you need to create the project. So these are some extra pieces that you need to create the dimension and the layering on the cards, and then some matching envelopes. So I've pulled out what I need, or what I think I need. Actually, I think I'm gonna keep this out as well in case I wanna use more than one. And then we'll put this stuff back in here. I don't think I'm gonna use the tissue paper today, so I'm gonna pop it back in the box. Sometimes I do use it when I create my layouts, but I don't think I will be using it today. All right, so some of the other things that I've pulled out the Alphabet Ella Mode dies, which I'm going to use for my title, or part of my title. My layout is going to be for 2 3x3 photos, so they're square photos, and I've gone ahead and mounted a piece of white onto a piece of 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 pecan pie cards, piece of pecan pie cardstock. So those are meant to be my photos because I don't have photos yet. I'm going to create this layout for a couple photos of some of my favorite holiday decor around our house once we decorate. So obviously we haven't decorated for Christmas yet, so I don't have those photos. And then, now this is a retired product. I have a little bit of this white glimmer paper left. It measures about 11 inches by 8 inches. So I've got about an 8 by 11. I probably won't use it all, but I do want to use some of it for snow. So if you don't have something like this, you can use regular white cardstock, or if you have our white, I think it was called velvet paper from last year, that is another great snow alternate that you can use. Or if you have our really old shimmery white cardstock, that would be a great alternate for snow. I liked this because it's kind of really shimmery. So it's gonna look like the snow is glistening, and it also kind of matches. It's got a little bit more colors in it than this, but it kind of matches that. So I pulled that out. I always try to use products from my stash if I can. All right, and then I've got a piece of this DSP. This is it's a sheet from the Oh Holy Night DSP, which is from the September to December mini catalog, and I've trimmed it down to 11 by 11. And the reason I chose 11 inches was because this piece is 11 inches, and I want my snow to go all the way across. Okay. So, and then this is going to get matted onto a piece of white to make it a 12 by 12. We are going to gut this because I don't want to waste all this fabulous white cardstock in the middle. But before we do that, I want to do something to this piece and then set it aside to dry. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper just to kind of tuck underneath here. And I want to make some snowflakes on here. All right. Good morning, Lynn, Sheila, Shauna, Gail, Anne. Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to take some Whisper White Craft ink refill. So this is our white ink refill. And I've just got a paper pumpkin block here. It's a thinner block, but I use this block for this purpose. And then I've got my water painter. Oh, hello, Teresa from Africa. I don't know that I've ever had anybody from Africa watching. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining in. All right, so I just added just a tiny bit of water just to make it a little bit thinner, and I'm going to splatter. Move that over. And we'll slide this down a little bit, add a few down here. Okay. All right. Now, I'm just going to grab a tissue. And I'm gonna squeeze my water painter until all that white gets off that brush. Try to get all that color out so that the next time I use it, it's ready to go and I don't have to worry about cleaning it. And then use that to wipe off my block. I will give it like a rinse just with some warm water afterwards, but I'll just get that ink off so I don't get it all over my project. And then I'm gonna set this aside to dry because there are some bigger blobs there, so it's going to take a little bit of time to dry. Okay, so we can slide this away. Now I'm gonna bring in my paper trimmer and we're going to cut out the middle of this. I call this gutting the cardstock because we're gonna take out the center or the guts of it. And when I do this, I usually line it up with the 1 inch mark on the right-hand side of the paper trimmer. So I've lined it up with the 1 inch mark. I'm gonna use the cutting blade, but I'm gonna start at the 1 inch mark. So we're basically going to create a frame. And I do this whenever I put a large piece of cardstock or pattern paper over top of something to make it 12 by 12. Okay, so I've cut from 1 inch down to 11 inches. I'm not gonna go all the way down. Then I'm gonna rotate it and I'm gonna repeat that process. My blade is already at 11 inches. So I'm gonna go up from 11 inches to 1, rotate it again, and just repeat this on all 4 sides. And I will end up with a nice 10 by 10 inch piece of white cardstock that I can use on a different project. And I haven't wasted all that cardstock that's going to get covered over. So sometimes you'll end up having to snip just a little bit. Like that and like that. Okay, so this I'll set aside. I'll use that on a different project. And this is what we're going to use. This will get mounted right on top of that so that we have a nice even border all the way around the edges. All right, so that's gonna be the base of our layout. But again, I'm not gonna stick anything down just yet because we've got those blobs of ink that need to dry. And if we need to, we can bring in the heat tool and give it a zap when we're ready. But what I wanna do is I wanna try to figure out the configuration of my layout. So I'm thinking my photos are gonna go like this. And let me grab my little tray here. So I've got some pieces here. So I pulled out basically one of each of the pieces. I'm gonna pull this out. And this piece I actually cut from, let me find it here. I've got a pile of things from the card base. So I cut this out of the card base and I kept this because I might use this piece. I might cut out the moon to add a little bit of a moon, or I might maybe punch out a moon because this is a little bit larger scale. This might be a bit small. And then I've also pre-cut part of my title. So this, I've added some foam adhesive sheets to the back of some pecan pie cardstock, and I used the Alphabet a la Mode dies to cut out the word home because my title is going to be Home for the Holidays. Okay, and so what I'm thinking of doing, we can set these 2 pieces and those aside, and we'll set our trees aside. Don't need those just yet. So what I'm thinking is I am going to do kind of a border across the 11-inch piece of cardstock, and I'm going to do 2 of them. And you can see here that this doesn't match up. We've got a flat edge here, but that's okay because what we can do is we can pop up a tree to cover that up so it looks like it's seamless. And yes, this is uneven down here, but that's where my snow is going to come into play. So then I'll add that. This I'll probably trim. Let's trim this a little bit shorter. There's a lot of white space on the bottom of this that we're not going to need. All right. So, and I'm not going to, well, I guess I could use my grid mat because we know that it's 11 inches. So 11, that starts at 10, so we need it to be 21. So we could overlap just a little bit so that I could stick them together. Let's see. I think what I'm going to do is for this piece, I'm going to take my snips and I'm just going to cut around this. Cut that piece off. And then I don't want it to block the house. I want to be able to see the house. So let's trim that piece off. Okay, so that's about 11 inches. Might do it this way. And then put a tree there. Or do we want a smaller tree? Maybe a smaller tree. I think a smaller tree will work. Might put it down a little bit just so it looks like you can see some trees in the background. So something like that. And then my photo is going to get tucked under here, kind of at an angle. And then I'm going to do another border up at the top. And this can be used to kind of fill in because neighborhoods they don't just have one row of houses, right? They've got multiple rows. So this can create some added depth to it. So that is kind of what I'm thinking. So I'm going to bring this back and I'm going to carefully work with this down at the bottom. And we're going to use lots and lots of dimensionals today. So I'm going to pull in my dimensionals and we're going to start. Actually, you know what? I think, no, we are going to pop this up. Okay. So I'm going to add dimensionals along the bottom here. And I'll do one on the side. And I might do one here, but I'm not going to peel this one back. I'll peel this one because remember my photo is going to be tucked under this side. So I want to make sure that I can slide my photo underneath. So I'm going to put that down. I think that looks pretty straight. This will get tucked under here, kind of like that. Then we'll move on to this next one. I think I'm going to trim a little bit of this off. And we'll use some dimensionals for this. I'm not going to peel the backing off of this one just yet until I know. Sometimes I like to do that. Let's do it down a little bit. So like that. And then this one, what did we decide on this one? I think this one was behind here. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay. All right. So you know what? We're going to put it, I'm going to trim a little bit more off of this. And this we're going to tuck in behind. I think I'm going to put it a little higher up. like that, and then flip this over and trim this off. Okay, so there's our border. We'll fix up the seams in a little bit. This is going to get tucked under here, kind of like that. But now I want to work on my snow. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some long-handled scissors and I'm going to freehand cut a little bit of a, so it looks like there's snowbanks. So a little bit wavy, not too wavy. Okay, so just freehand like that. That's gonna go right over top of this, like this. So I'm gonna figure out how far I need to cut it. I'm gonna cut it right about here. So we'll just slide this aside, bring in the paper trimmer. Not really measuring anything, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And we'll bring this back. And this is gonna go on here like that. And actually I could do it so that it lines up right with the bottom. So let's do that. So we'll add some dimensionals to the bottom part of this. And we'll just stick that right on here like that. Now this, if I reversed it, I wonder if I could stick it under here. Well, some parts you can see. You know what, instead of wasting this, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna use some of these mini glue dots that came with the paper pumpkin kit. And I'm just gonna put one on either end. And tuck this underneath. So, and what I'm being mindful of is that there's no white, like this underbit white of white showing. So you can't really see it here, but you can see that there's layers on either end. All right. Okay. So now we need to kind of cover up our gaps here. So I'm going to use this tree and I'm going to pop it up. So I'm going to use a dimensional at the top. And I think I'll just use some flat adhesive at the bottom. Like that. And then this one, I'm going to do the same and just add this one on there. And then do we want to tuck this underneath here? Yes. So this is going to go on flat and I'm just going to tuck this piece right under here so that there's no blue showing. All right, so our first border has been created. I think that looks really good. I like it. Okay, I'm gonna bring it in my heat tool because these are still a little damp and I really don't want to smear. probably still a little bit damp, but it'll be okay. All right, so now I'm gonna bring in another set of these. So we're using lots of this. Okay, so this, let me think here. I don't want it to be exactly the same. So I think we'll start with this guy. So this is gonna have to be a little bit narrower if I want it to fit, if I wanna do the same thing. So I'm gonna do another border like this. I'm gonna trim this off. And being very careful. Okay, so that straight edge there is going to bother me. So let me see if we grab another one of these big trees. We could probably pop a big tree in behind here. No, then I don't like the straight edge at the front. So yeah, we'll have to do it. We'll have to do it there. Okay, and then this guy. Or do we want to do this guy first and this guy over here? Let's try this. So we could do, so it really is all about just kind of playing around with the configuration. We can trim this house off a little bit and pop that tree. There we go. And then we're not all in the same order. Okay, and then I wanted my second photo to kind of stick underneath here. And my title is gonna go right here. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna slide this over, and this, we'll start with this piece and use dimensionals. I love to use our paper pumpkin kits for scrapbooking. They make for quick and easy pages because, actually I'm gonna put this down a little lower, because all of your embellishments are all done for you. You don't have to stamp and die cut, so it just makes it quick and easy. Save that for later. This piece will pop up. And we'll have that overlap. Like that. And then this guy. So this is the one where my photo is going to get tucked under, so I'm just going to be mindful of which pieces I peel off. So I think I'm just going to do these bottom pieces and then keep the top two. I think my dimensional is off the page there. Okay, I'll do that. It looks a little crooked, but we can make it, I think I can fix it with the glimmer paper. All right. Now we're gonna do the same thing with the glimmer paper. So I'm gonna try not to do the same hills. This piece is really narrow. I don't know if that'll work to add in afterwards like I did the other one. Okay, and then for this, think I'll do about an inch. Oh, maybe an inch and a quarter. I can always trim it a little bit shorter if I need to. So let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to trim it a little bit shorter. So we'll do an inch. Yeah, I think that's better. All right. So then this piece will get some dimensionals on the bottom. And I think I'm going to use the edges. Pop those on there and then add this. Okay, so here I'm going to use my grid mat and try to make sure that I'm somewhat straight. Yeah, you can see that this is quite crooked. So I'm going to try to line this up with this line here so that everything doesn't look so crooked. There we go. Now this piece, what I could do is I can trim maybe this hill and pop it under here. We'll use a mini glue dot to adhere that. I never throw anything away until I'm done with my project, because you never know when even like a tiny scrap like this can be used. I'll just tuck that in there, and that's going to give a little bit of added dimension. And then this guy will go on like that. I think we'll use a dimensional. Actually, we're going to use 2 dimensionals, I think. Pop that up there. And I think this looks natural, like it's not a straight edge, so I don't think we need to cover that one up. But we do have some trees we could probably pop back here. So let's do that. We'll add a little bit of Seal Plus back there. Pop that up. Okay, let's check our photo placement now. So this is going to go in here. I think that'll fit under there nicely. And then this one will go in there. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Okay. So I'll add some Seal adhesive, or Seal Plus, I guess is what I'm using. Seal works too, though. I'm going to put that at a little bit of an angle, and then do the same for this one. We're covering up so much of our splatter that we added. And this is going to get tucked under here. And again, just at a slight angle. All right. Okay, so now we just need to work on our title. So I've got the word home. That, like I said at the beginning, I've cut using, I added some foam adhesive sheets to the back of a piece of pecan pie. And do I want to pop this up here? Sometimes this is a little tricky to get apart. It's usually just the backing that doesn't get popped out or cut out fully. So you just have to be careful when you pull it out. If you're just going to peel it off and stick it down, but I want to leave the backing on until I figure out where I want to put it. All right. Do the E. And then I'm going to pull in this stamp set, I think. Oh, this guy really doesn't want to come out. Let's just peel him off. Okay, I'm wondering if I have a piece of wax paper. Sometimes I like to stick my titles to wax paper until I'm ready to commit. Oh, I don't. Okay, well, I'm just going to carefully put it on here. Because if I do it down here, I feel like there's not a whole lot of room. Okay. All right. So now the stamp set has happy holidays. So I want to use the word holidays. So I'm going to pull this out and we'll slide this aside for a moment and grab a block. And we're going to use some red. That's the ink that comes with the kit. And we're going to use this label shape. Except what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ink up the word holidays. This is photopolymer, so it's easy enough to just ink up a portion. But you could also put a Post-it note or some washi tape or even Scotch tape over top of the word happy, ink it up, and then peel back the tape. And stamp that down in the middle. Okay, we'll bring this back. And then I think I'm going to use this. Oh, that's a lot of glitter though. Maybe I won't. Okay, so then I want the word or the words for the. So I was looking through my stamp sets and I wanted something a little bit smaller. We do have the Alpha Best stamp set, which I thought I pulled out, which is this one here. But I feel like this is just, it's bigger than the word holidays. And I really want the word home and holidays to be larger than the for the. So I'm not going to use that one. I looked at my non-Stampin' Up! Ones and I have this lowercase alphabet set. So I think I'm going to use these letters here. And I'm going to stamp right on the background and I'm going to do it in navy. So it is going to be a little bit more on the subtle side. And actually what I might do is, this is the scrap piece that was left over. I'm going to try stamping on this first, just to kind of see how dark it's going to be. So we want for the, so I need F. Okay, so I could do that. It's really subtle. Or I did pull out some white ink as well. Let me find my scrub. Clean this. Let's test it with white and see what it looks like with white. Yeah, I think I have to do it in white, just because the navy, I thought it would show up a little bit better, but it really blends in there. So we're gonna do the white. So I'm just going to position that. That's gonna be, okay, FOR space THE. So 7 letters. I have to write this out. Let's use this. Okay, for the, so the space is the center. So I'm gonna start with the letter R. So that I can somewhat get this centered. Okay, so then I'll clean this and then we'll do the O. I can, nothing, these aren't stuck down, so I can always reposition those if I need to. And then our F. And then our T. So we'll leave a space. This is still a little bit bigger than I would like it to be, but it's the smallest alphabet set that I have. You could also use alphabet stickers. If you've got stickers in your collection, you could also use stickers for this part. Okay, and it's not super straight, but that's okay. It's not meant to be perfect. It's homemade. All right, set that aside. Now this is going to get popped up using dimensionals. All right, now we're going to do this. So I'm going to start with the M. Stick that on there. And then we can push our E down since that's already stuck. Poke out the center of our O. And our H. All right. Okay, so now I think the last thing is, okay, first of all, I feel like it needs some twine. I'm just trying to think, do I want to use, no, not linen thread, white, or do I want to use, I've got this white with silver. I think this was left from probably a paper pumpkin kit or some other card kit that we carried at one point. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half and then tie a bow. I want to see what that looks like. It's rolled on a piece of cardboard, which I don't, they usually don't do anymore. So this must have been from an older kit. I don't really like that because then you get these kinks in the ribbon and it doesn't, so you can see that it's all kind of kinky. maybe put that there. That feels like it's too bulky. Let's try just a single layer. So this just it's white twine with a silver thread through it. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Let's trim our ends. I want it there. That blocks kind of some of the wording. Yeah, I think we'll put it there. And I'll use a mini glue dot for that. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add some of my glitter glue. So what I'm going to do for this is, now I'm not going to do it all on camera because it'll take too long. There's too many, but I'm going to show you how I do it. So I'm going to start at the bottom just because I'm right-handed. I'll start at this end, work my way down, and then do the top. And that way I don't have to worry about getting my arm or my hand into what I've just done because it does take some time to dry. So I'm just going to take the lid off, and along the windowsills, actually, if I bring, let me show you with this. Anywhere where there is like little bits of snow, so on the top of the window ledges, there's a little light blue line where the roof is, I'm going to add it around there. So basically along the rooftops and the window ledges. So you just squeeze it and add a narrow bead. It does go on with some dimension, but I noticed that once it's dry, it dries flat. So I'll just do a couple of these houses just to show you, and I'll bring it up a little closer so that you can see what it looks like. I thought this was a fun addition to the kit. So next month's kit actually will coordinate with this month's kit. There is no refill kit for this month available yet. I think the release date for that should be Monday if they do have extras. So you wouldn't get the stamp set and you wouldn't get the ink spot, but you would get the cards and all the other pieces that are in there. So if you missed out on this month's kit, you can get a refill kit if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber. And then next month's kit will coordinate with it. Next month's kit includes the supplies to create 8 boxes for each of 2 different designs. And those boxes would be great for, you could tuck a gift card inside or some little treats, great for coworkers, neighbors, you know, just to have on hand to hand to your barista. You know, during the holidays, it's always nice to have some little treats available. So there's that. And then there are some coordinating cards and envelopes that you can add on as well. They're called the Warm Wishes cards and envelopes. And if you are already set up to get next month's kit, you can purchase the Warm Wishes cards and envelopes now. You get a set of 20 cards and envelopes, and I think they're $20. And those are available while supplies last. Okay. All right. So let's see. Can you see that where I've added that glimmer? You can kind of see it. It's a little crooked, but that's okay. Snow's not perfectly straight, right? So there we go. I'll finish that off camera, and there is our layout for this month. I love how it turned out. I might try adding in a few more snowflakes down here. This feels like an empty spot. So I might do that. All right. So thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder of the starter kit special that is on until the end of the month. And then also the opportunity to sign up for next month's Paper Pumpkin kit. Deadline to sign up for that kit is November 10th. All right. Have a fabulous weekend. We'll see you again soon.